Hey everybody, it's Vani, and welcome back to the Positivity Voice. Positivity Voice is exactly what it sounds like. It's all about keeping up positivity no matter where we are or what we encounter in life. I started this during the pandemic through my service initiative just to be able to bring some positivity during a time where we all needed it the most. And so I'm so excited to continue. It's about 5 years going strong, so I'm excited to continue with our next guest today. She is positive, she is talented, she's inspiring, and she's your Miss Illinois teen for National American Miss, Livia Nieves. So I see that she has joined on. So let's. Hi,
Oh my gosh,
Livia.
hi!
How are you?
I'm so good. How are you?
I'm doing great, getting all the things packed up for college again. So it's
Me
a busy
too.
time. Yes, and I know you move in too very soon. How's that process been like for you?
It's been a
Stressful,
little
fun?
bit, it's so crazy. I leave on Wednesday. So I have to start getting packed and I have barely even started. So that is something I definitely need to do soon.
I know it's always like we don't want to think about it, but at the same time, it's like there's so much excitement. So it's a mix of both for sure.
Yes, no, totally.
Yeah. So what have you been up to all summer? What's been your sort of highlight of summer?
Gosh, I've been super busy this summer. I was in two different shows at the Springfield Muni. I was in The Hunchback of Notre Dame and Shrek the Musical, and it was such a good time. I love musical theater and I love performing for people. And so that took a lot of my summer, but I made it to the NAM Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi pageant earlier in the summer, along with the Pacific Northwest pageant over in Seattle, Washington. So it's been a jam-packed summer, but I couldn't ask for anything better.
That's so awesome. No, I love that. I feel like performances are always so fun to watch, but I also feel like there's so much of energy and effort that gets put into it. It's very much busy and time consuming too. So that's
Totally.
amazing that you get to do that and so much fun for sure.
Mhm.
And your major is also in musical theater, Broadway, all the things at Syracuse, if I'm saying that wrong.
Syracuse, yes.
Syracuse, okay. How has that been like getting to do what you love at college?
It's such a dream. I was super, super, super nervous going into it. Um, but truly, as the year went on, I met some of the absolute coolest people, all my best friends. My teachers are literally incredible. The performances are incredible. And I have made so many connections with so many people that I never even thought was possible prior to going to school there. And it was a hard year, but it definitely, like, I am so happy that I get to go to class and do what I love rather than do something that is not totally me.
Yes. No, I love that. That's so fun. I think there's the saying that like if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life.
Truly,
And
yes.
I think it's so fun. I always see like your photos of you performing and you look so happy. It's like the stage is your home. So that's so
Truly.
wonderful to hear. And now that we have some people joined, I guess we can sort of get started.
Yes.
And I guess we could start by having you introduce yourself and tell everyone. We kind of had a little intro to that, but tell everyone a little bit more about yourself and more about your hobbies too.
Yeah, so my name is Livia Nieves. I am the 2024 National American Miss Illinois teen. I have been competing with National American Miss for 13 years now and pageants in general since I was 3 years old. So I think that's 16
Wow.
years. Um, so pageants have always been a huge part of my life. I've had a lot of different local titles. I held the NAM Illinois Junior Teen title in 2019. But besides pageants, I am super involved in theater. As you know, I musical theater major at Syracuse University along with public communications minor. I do a lot of theater outside of school. I do dance classes and acting and singing lessons. So I take up a lot of my time with all of that. But whenever I'm not doing that, I am listening to Taylor Swift. I'm taking drives in my red Volkswagen Beetle that I love so much. Um,
Oh my
or
gosh.
I'm just on TikTok. So I literally love social media. It's like my favorite thing ever.
I love that. I'll need to see a picture of this car. It sounds so fun.
It literally was my dream car. And when my mom got it for me, I literally cried for days. I was
Oh
so
my
happy.
God. That's so sweet. I don't think I've ever seen someone driving a red Beetle. So
Really?
that, yeah, that's so
Oh,
unique.
no, I literally love it. Her name is Roxy Hart from like the Chicago musical,
Love,
and I
yes.
wear little red heart sunglasses when I drive. So
Oh my gosh,
it's super
that's
cute.
iconic. I'm sure everybody's turning heads like when you're driving. They're
My
like,
gosh,
oh,
a lot of people do. I get a lot of like the little tapping when it like slug bug.
yes.
I see a lot of that and it makes me
Oh, I
happy.
love that so much. Yes. Well, that's awesome. I can't wait to hear more and dive into a lot of those things that
Yes.
you talked about. But I know also pageantry has been a huge part of your life. You said 16 years, which is crazy.
Yes.
It's a long time. And so, as you know, for this year, you've been able to represent Illinois and do some amazing things. I love getting to keep up with
Oh,
your
thank
social
you.
media. But if there's been something that's like the most memorable experience, could you choose? Could you pick?
Gosh, it's been such a year. And it's crazy that it's almost over. But I think probably the best, most memorable moment of my entire year was probably the finale at Nationals. I had never even dreamed of making the top 12, let alone the top five, let alone the top two. So getting to be in the finale and hear my name get called and get to re-say my personal introduction, get to be asked a question on stage. I had never had an on-stage question before, so that was insane. And getting to be in the top two with Deja was probably one of the best moments of probably my entire life. She has been one of my pageant besties since 2019 when we were the Illinois junior team and I think Oregon junior team
Or
together. And we
oh,
had spent the whole week, we were right, Illinois, Idaho, we were right next to each other all week. And just to be in the top two with her, getting to hug her, getting to watch her get her dream, it was just like, that was probably the highlight of my reign, let alone my life.
aw, that's so sweet. No, I love that. I think the connections that you make with people, like even after so many years, when you talk to them or get to spend a whole week, it's so much
Mhm.
fun. But it's
Yeah.
like you never had that break. Like you never stopped talking and
Hmm.
kept those connections. So that's so wonderful. I remember like hearing or watching the live stream and hearing your question, which was I think you talked about hairspray and watching.
I did.
I was like, that is too iconic and so true.
Yeah,
We need a product for that. Like truly.
no, we do. And I literally, I was standing backstage with the little
Yes.
headphones on with the white music, and I'm like just thinking of all the things and how pageantry has impacted me and why I want to be the national title holder. And I'm thinking all these pageant things, and they were like, if you could invent something, what would you invent? And I was like, oh my gosh. And I literally almost freaked out, but it was literally fine. It's a funny memory to look back on.
Yeah, oh, I'm sure it was like sort of stressful, but also exciting to be up there.
Mhm.
All the adrenaline and feelings,
Yes.
for sure. But I just remember, I don't think anyone will forget that. It was truly so iconic and just a beautiful answer that
Oh,
we
thank you.
definitely need to bring that product to life for sure.
Please, please.
That would be so helpful, yeah. And I'm sure too, like throughout this whole year, you've probably experienced a lot of different growth or things that you didn't expect or things that you didn't realize about yourself. So tell me more about those items that you know didn't expect and sort of grew from this year.
Yeah, I mean, winning this year was not something that I thought was ever possible, like taking home the Illinois title. And obviously, I was going into my freshman year of college. I had just moved to Syracuse
Hmm.
and learning how to balance being a musical theater full-time student at Syracuse University in New York while
Yes.
also being the National American Miss Illinois teen was quite crazy because how do you balance all of that together? But I learned a lot about like priorities, how to make sure that I am being fully devoted to everything that I can in all ways that I can. But sometimes you have to make sacrifices, and
Right.
sometimes things can't happen, and that's totally okay.
Yeah.
So it was a hard year, but like so needed and necessary for my growth.
Oh, I love that. That's so amazing. I remember talking during that. I mean, I was like, you just flew in,
Mhm.
and you got started. So it's definitely, all the things traveling
Mhm.
back and forth and things. But
Yeah.
I'd love to learn more about that balance. How was it like sort of being in two places and sort of giving your all to both school and also being in Illinois?
Yeah, I felt like this title gave me a different life to live, and it kind of gave me an excuse of like this is something I care so deeply about. This is something I really want to focus on. And during the school year, I spent many hours with my walking coach after classes. And it was like I literally finished my voice lesson. I am running back from classes and I am in my basement with my heels on, with my school clothes on, looking a mess for Christine. And like just like having to not go out to eat with friends to make sure that I'm saving money for nationals because it's super expensive. And just like doing everything I can every time that I was in Illinois, every time that I made it home, which I made it home like literally every single break I could possible.
Yes.
I was making sure to go out to different locations in Illinois, take pictures, meet people, learn more about the state that I've lived in my whole life. And it was hard, but it was definitely something that I learned that I can do.
Yes, that's so great. I think when you're put into situations, it really helps you grow and learn
Yeah.
that like you can do so many things and that
Mhm.
you are so capable of doing
Yeah.
those things that you might have thought is like crazy or
Yeah.
impossible. So I just love that. And I mean, I've also learned a lot about Illinois through your posts. So
I'm glad. I'm so
it's so
glad.
so great to follow that journey. And I know you mentioned too that pageants are expensive and they are, it takes a lot of saving and everything to be a part of it. But something that I think we can both relate to is pageantry on a budget, making sure that we, spend wisely and that we can, have everything ready to go. So can you tell me more about that and that experience for you, what that's like, and how to sort of combat that for anyone who is wondering or curious about it?
Yeah. So I think one of my favorite hacks and tips that I've used is I love to thrift. I love to secondhand buy things off like Facebook Marketplace or Depop, places like that. And with tuition and everything this year, going to NAM Nationals was a rough hit, but it was something that it was like, okay, let's look at all of these competitions. Formal wear, we're gonna go crazy. This is national formal wear. This is huge. But for introduction and interview, it was something like I had an interview. I had numerous interview dresses, and I wore the one that I wore at state, which I love so much. And if it's not broke, they'll fix it. So,
Right.
and at nationals, I did a lot of re-wearing of dresses and
Mhm.
shoes. I did a lot of um, just like a lot of shopping in thrift stores and just being super cautious or conscious of what I needed to spend my money on and really focus on versus what was not as important.
Yes, and for sure it makes you so, I think, responsible as a person too, because I love also thrifting. It's hard. It's very
So
hard, but it's so much fun too at the same time. And
yeah.
just looking on Facebook sites or seeing, different ways that you can, a need versus a want kind of thing. So I
Yes.
love that. I think it's so important to sort of bring up because it's not talked about a lot, and it
Mhm.
can be hard, but there are so many ways to still have that great experience and also be conscious of all the things that come with pageant week.
Yeah, no, truly. And it can be super time consuming to have to get your things secondhand because you're not having the same selection as other people are. But it is so worth it when you find like the perfect thing and you're like, oh my gosh, I've literally been waiting for this
Yes.
exact dress to come up. Oh, it's like more rewarding than going to a store and finding it there. Like
For
truly.
sure. Yes, and I think that it's also really really cool to be able to do something like that because I know that's probably not something that came before technology, and so all
Yeah.
the different opportunities that we have now, it's important to take advantage of it and find the things
Hmm.
that you love. So it's
Yeah.
definitely a two-way street for sure.
Hmm.
Oh, I love that. So also with, on that same topic of, budget, I think all the different things that come into pageant experiences are also the experience that you have beforehand too. Um, can you talk to me a little bit about when you started pageantry, how that was like and, coming in fresh and if you remember from that young of an age, how it was like and all the things that you did to prepare when you were so young?
Gosh, I remember back in 2012, I think it was my first year of NAM. I was 7 years old. I was a junior preteen. And we had literally no idea what was going on. Whenever I first started pageants, about 3 or 4, I was just doing local pageants. So that was just your favorite little Easter dress and little shoes.
Love
So
that.
National American Miss was nothing like that. And it was a lot of wardrobe. It was a lot of things. I remember my mom watching Facebook or YouTube videos of what personal introduction was supposed to look like. So she wrote my personal introduction, and she and my grandma sewed and like made my interview suit themselves, which was crazy. And
Oh, I
we,
love that.
yeah, and we got my dress off of Facebook Marketplace, I think all the way back then. I had no coaching, and we kind of just went into it like we're gonna get the coaching that we need there. And it I made the top 30 out of 160 girls, so it worked out. But I think back then we were making every single mistake that you could possibly make in pageantry. And but it was really nice because you truly have to make a lot of the mistakes, especially with big pageant systems or new
Mhm.
experiences like this, to be able to learn from it and to get better.
Absolutely. That's so true. I think you don't sometimes realize things, and when you go
Mhm.
there, not only do they teach you a lot, but you also learn so much from the experience.
Mhm.
My mom actually sewed one of my interview outfits too when I
Oh,
was just getting started. She was
stop.
very much into sewing, and it was this like
Mhm.
blue just like this blue dress that she kind of had inspo from, and she just like attached like
Cute.
buttons and things, and I just
Mhm.
remember how sweet that was. And even too, like I would be watching those YouTube videos, like I would be YouTube University for pageants and still do to this
Yes.
day.
Yeah,
um,
honestly, yeah.
Yes, and it's so cool because there's so many resources out there that,
Mhm.
help you to feel prepared and help you to kind of know what to expect with
Mhm.
whatever pageant that you go into. So it's really
Yeah.
cool to see the creativity and all the things that you can do just to be
Mhm.
prepared beforehand.
No, truly. And it's like, as I've learned and grown over the past couple years, I feel like there's more information out there, which is so
Mhm.
nice. But I started a little like mini series on my Instagram called Let's Talk to try to help people out that are new to NAM, because even with so much information out there, it can be so hard to know what you're walking into before you walk into it.
Yeah.
Like especially a pageant like National American Miss, it's like, wow, you are going into a full 3 days of pageant mode. What is check-in? What is personal introduction? What am I expected to do? What do I wear to rehearsals and all of those kinds of things? So I've been trying to help a little bit with that. But it's just so interesting. I feel like people just really need to take the leap before that they can really fully understand what they're doing.
For sure. No, that series is so helpful. I think no matter what you're doing, just to have tips and things is just so, so wonderful. So it's amazing that you're doing that. Everybody go check out her
Yes.
Instagram for those tips because they can be applied, I think, anywhere. No matter if
Mhm.
it's like a job interview or just, being confident, no matter where you are, that's always a valuable skill. And something
Mhm.
to apply to your life. So that's so awesome that you do that
Yeah.
because it is just so, so great to see more resources, just like you mentioned.
No, totally. And planning is so difficult nowadays. So it's only best to know that you're going in and you have a plan, even if your plan goes to crap.
Mhm. Now, that's also something that's hard, feeling like you're fully ready for pageant weekend. But during pageant weekend, is there something that you feel like is the hardest thing or like the most fun thing? Like, I feel like those can be kind of extremes. So,
Yeah.
what do you feel like that is for you?
For me, I feel like whenever there are two required competitions back to back, because nowadays, usually with schedules and with how crazy everything is, I feel like that is more common. And so I think that going back and forth between formal wear and personal introduction or personal introduction and interview, it can be really overwhelming because you don't have that cool down of that one event to be able to process what went well, what might not have gone the best, and also get ready for the next competition and be able to warm up and be like, okay, I'm ready for this.
Hmm.
So that's always for me been one of the most difficult things, especially because I feel like pageants for me have always been more of a mental game than anything.
Hmm.
But the most fun part, I love being able to walk out of interview or whatever the last competition is and just be like, oh my gosh, I'm done.
Yeah.
Literally, what a great feeling to just be able to be like, oh my gosh, I worked for I don't even know how long on everything to get my wardrobe together, to get my personal introduction written, memorized, performed exactly how I want
Yeah.
it, to
Hmm.
really like make a plan and um, get my resume all how I want it to look. All of the things that just take so long. And to like walk out of the last competition and just be like, ah, I did it. Like I don't know how I did it, but I did it. Whether you did it as well as you wanted to or not, like it's just the best feeling.
Yeah, so much like relief, but at the same time, like you feel so accomplished
Yeah,
knowing that, you did it, regardless of what happens, you did your
yeah,
best, and that's what matters the most.
truly.
So that I totally agree. I think that feeling is just it's unmatched. You just feel so
Mhm.
so good,
Yeah.
and it just sums up pageant weekend. Like it's a great conclusion before a little bit of stress coming the finale. But but regardless, it's always a great time, and there will always be things that are hard to face. Like you said,
Mhm.
mindset is a huge thing about pageantry, but
Yeah.
also any competition. And I'm sure you know this through with competing in auditions, I believe too. Like
Mhm.
it,
Yeah.
you have to sort of prepare yourself mentally. So
Mhm.
talk to me more about that. What is your go-to tip to stay ready and be present in that moment?
Yeah, well, I think that really mentally preparing weeks in advance, knowing exactly how you want to feel, what mindset you want to put into everything, how you want to feel about everything, getting that prepared weeks in advance is so important because you want to be able to drill those affirmations into your head so that you know them and that you believe them. Because there's a lot of things you can say, like, oh, I am beautiful, I am talented, I am hardworking, I did my best, and you might not believe it, but really, like, pushing that into yourself and really being able to believe that is so important, especially in something like pageants or theater where it is subjective. And there's a lot of times that whether you did your best or not, you don't get the knowledge and the reward of that. So just being able to like really work on how to go about it, your mindset, how to look at everything is just so
Yeah.
important.
Absolutely, and having small goals, like small little things
Yes.
that you want to do, whether it's like make a
Mhm.
friend or like, just like,
Yes.
feel happy or relieved or smile as much as you can during a competition. Something like that is always so
Yes.
fun. And then you can be like, I did that.
Yeah, no,
And that I
seriously.
think makes the whole experience so much more fun and so much more relaxed, right? Like it's so much more about your journey, as we know how cliche that is. But it's true. Like
Yeah,
it's more about the
it
journey than the
is.
result. That's what creates those memories, and that's what creates that experience. So that's such a great tip when it comes to mindset. Just being prepared for whatever comes your way is so
Yeah.
for sure. And with that, I feel like you could have a lot of noise or negativity that comes in. And so, what for you keeps you motivated? How do you sort of tune out the noise and stay focused on what you're doing, no matter what it is?
I think what you were saying about small goals is something that
Mhm.
I have literally always implemented. I never go into pageant weekend like my goal for the weekend is to win. My goal for the weekend is to get the top five because
Yeah.
that can just be unrealistic and that can just
Right.
make it harder to want to go into pageant weekend to do some of the competitions because you have so much pressure on yourself. And that in itself is a mindset that can be pretty negative and toxic for yourself, just for your mental health moving
Mhm.
after the pageant, whether you win or not. So I think small goals, like I remember at nationals this year, my goals were to be able to walk off the formal wear stage literally happy. And it
Yeah.
was like not to do my walk perfectly, but just to be able to walk off and be like, dang, I did that.
Yeah.
And I was
Mhm.
able to do that and it was awesome. And then I remember I was like, I want to have one thing to do on my off day. Like get a
Mhm.
call back, get something there. And I got a call back for Music Artist of the Year and it was like, perfect.
Yes.
My week is done. Like literally I don't need anything else.
Oh, I love that. No, that's so
Um,
awesome. And I don't know if we got to hear you sing or they showed it not yet. Okay, okay. Well, we'll have to hear you sing at some
Maybe at
point.
some point. Next week.
Yes, well, yes, to do a performance. That
Mhm.
would be so cool to get to hear you sing and get to show your passions. But that's so
Hmm.
wonderful. I think those small goals are so important.
Hmm.
And it just, like you said, it makes your week so much more fun and less stressful, for
Yeah.
sure.
If you have something to go after like every single day, then you're less
Yeah.
focused on the overall results, the overall
Hmm.
like craziness, overwhelm of everything going on. If your little thing for the day is to make someone smile or to walk in a room and be on time to rehearsal or any of the things to take a 20-minute nap, like seriously,
Real.
setting goals is so important.
The nap is so real. I implement that even during school. I'm like, I
Yeah,
need that nap. My day doesn't
same.
end until like 6. I need that nap.
Same. I get it.
Yeah, no, I love that. That's something we need. We need to do
Hmm.
that regardless of pageantry. It's having those small goals really keep you
Hmm.
going and help you stay motivated for sure.
Yeah.
And I on the topic of motivated too, I think a lot of times it's very easy to have motivations that are like, okay, you want to do really well, you want to become the best version of yourself, but also just feel proud of yourself coming
Hmm.
out of each competition. So how do you stay authentic throughout that and make sure that, personally you're not feeling like that pressure is getting to you and just sort of just being authentic no matter where you go?
Yeah, I think it's really important to remember that we are human and we are so flaw-filled.
Yes.
So even the most perfect thing in the whole world, even the most perfect formal wear turn or delivery of your introduction or interview answer, like it's not perfect because perfection is so hard to obtain. So really searching for perfection is something that I've always really strayed away from because it's not worth my mental time. It's not worth any energy to put into looking for perfection. So for me, just like authenticity is just all about bringing my full self to the table, bringing my very best work to the table. And who I am, flaw filled, unapologetically, and all. Like, I think that that's just, it's so important.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is. It's so easy to feel that pressure, but when you sort of just focus on yourself, like you said, we're not perfect. We have a lot of things that, are maybe flaw filled, but they're unique. They make us
Mhm.
different, and that's really what matters. And so I fully agree. I think it's so important to embrace those quirks and those fun things
Hmm.
about ourselves that make us so different. Because if we were all trying to just be perfect, the world would be so boring. So
Truly. I totally agree.
Yes, no, I love that. So, what is something for you that is like your go-to mantra that helps you to remember that throughout pageant week or auditions or just anything in your life?
Gosh, my favorite thing is my dad used to tell us every single morning before school to be a positive influence and to focus on not how perfect I do or how well I perform in a competition, but rather to know that I'm a kind person and that I went into it humbly, kindly, respectfully, positively, optimistically. And that's always been something that I focused on because perfection, one moment can be perfect, moment can't be perfect, but like ultimately how you impact others is the most important thing that you can possibly do.
That's so beautiful. That is so impactful. I mean, just that itself is so impactful to know that that is what you need to do every single day. That's like that
Hmm.
goal, those small goals, right?
Yeah.
Being a positive influence. And I just love that. That's so beautiful and so needed for people to hear for sure. I know
Yes.
that's something I will definitely take with me
Yes, you should.
as a small goal for the day, every day. But that is also what this series is all about. So that really brings it full circle in a great way.
Good.
Yes. So if you guys also watching have any questions for Livia, feel free to drop it down. But I also wanted to sort of conclude by asking you, regardless of whoever is watching, if there is someone out there, whoever feels like they're not enough or they don't have experience to do something or they just don't feel ready for something, what would you tell them?
I would just tell them that you just have to bring your full self, and no matter what, you are enough. You are loved. I mean, I think it's so important to just bring yourself to whatever and to get out of your comfort zone. It's so easy to not feel like you're enough. It's so easy to compare yourself to others. But I think moving forward and knowing that you are flaw filled and that you are perfect and unique in your own ways, um, you will find fulfillment and success in that joy and that mindset building.
That's so beautiful. Perfect way to sort of wrap it up. And I know it's hard to do sometimes in practice, but like you said, just having those positive affirmations that tell you that you are enough, that you
Hmm.
have so many unique qualities, and that you're beautiful just the way that you are.
Yeah.
I think that's such a beautiful reminder to share. And so thank you so much, Livia, for your time and getting
Yes.
to share all of your advice and messages. You are the epitome of positivity. Like you are literally sunshine wherever you go. So
Well, thank you so
I,
much.
yes, I appreciate your time, and I can't wait to talk soon.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Of course, I hope everybody has a great rest of your Sunday and have a wonderful week.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.